I notice you're looking at my tie. Pretty awful, ain't it? Looks like a Scotchman threw up on my shirt. Used to be. I got a lot of interest with my ties. You see, I used to wear those mink ties. And I'd say to a fellow when I wanted to engage in conversation on an airplane or whatever, I'd say, I notice you're looking at my tie. Go ahead, feel it if you like. Won't bite you. I have a train, and it is dead. That was my little joke. Always helps to start off with a joke. You know what kind of tie this here is, I'd say. This here is a mink tie. Yes, sir. It's 100% genuine mink. I swear. And that would kind of start the conversation off. I had 19 of them. 19 mink ties. Where's my trademark? All different colors. Got them from, oh, I can't tell you for where, or everybody else would be wearing them. You know what I mean. Private little mink farm. Friend of mine runs. Got them at cut rates. You have to have an eye out for a bargain in this world. I do. That is my trademark. But going out for a bargain was that made me stop wearing my mink ties. I'm a collector, you know. I buy and sell. I have a good eye for a bargain. Got rich that way, mostly in peat moss and fen beds. And I heard that there was a 1914 Republic truck for sale in a farm down in Arkansas. And I went down there, and this old fella, he comes to the gate of his rundown little farm and asked me what my business was. And I told him, and after I broke the ice a bit with him in discussing of my mink tie, the old fella asked me if I wanted to see the truck. And I said, I reckon I did. And he took me to the barn, and he pulled the blanket of it, and there it was, the 1914 Republic truck, in perfect condition. Just perfect, I tell you. Just as if he had saved it real careful in that barn all his years since he bought it in 1914. And I thought, I can smell a bargain here. In addition of a powerful lot of chicken shit, I can smell a real bargain here. And the old fella asked me if I wanted to take a ride in the truck. And I says, I reckoned I did. And damn, if this thing didn't start up right away. And it run real good too, just as smooth as silk. And I thought to myself that this was probably the best bargain I ever did get yet. And I tell the old fella I would give him $500 for it. And the old fella, he looks at me and he said, you have to talk to Sonny. Sonny handles all my business affairs. Now you have to understand, this guy I was talking to, he must have been 98 if he was a day. And at Sonny, when he showed up, he looked even older. So I broke the ice with Sonny in discussing of my mink tie. And then I told him that I was willing to give him $500 for that there 1914 Republic truck. Sonny, he looked at me and he scratched his nose and he says, "I'll take $62,000 for it. No more, no less." Well, I tell you, I could have found my drawers right there. Old Sonny had looked it up in the book. And damn if the old son of a gun didn't exactly know what that was worth. So I looked at Sonny and I saw there was no bargaining going to go on with this fella. So I says, okay. And I bought myself the only 1914 Republic truck in the whole world for $62,000. And I get the only 1914 Republic truck in the whole world. Maybe. Because you know they only made 16 of the damn thing to begin with. So, Christ, pardon my French, but it was worth it. But it bothered me when he went into the house to get the papers and all that so that we could go to the bank. To lose a good deal like that, I mean 61.5, is a big jump from 5. And it was hurting me. Although I was kind of tickled how sharp them two old guys was. But I also felt kind of embarrassed that I tickled them so badly. And I had the funny feeling all the time somebody was watching me. When I looked up in the hayloft, up sitting above me, with her bare legs hanging down, was this little bit of a girl, maybe 16 or 18, I don't know. She was a pretty little thing, but she had a funny look in her eyes. And she stroked that baby raccoon in her lap. So I says hello to her and kind of broke the ice with her and discussing of my mink tie. She just sat there and stroked her raccoon. And then she said a funny thing. And I remember the exact word of it. She said, "Howsoever you betray another living creature in your life, that shall be your punishment in hell." That was all she said. Well, I don't know. I was joshing her about mink ties, and she come out with that. Sounded like out of the Bible, but it ain't exactly in there, believe me, I looked. She says, "Howsoever you betray another living creature in your life, that will be your punishment in hell." Well, I just stood there. I looked at her and stroking my mink tie thoughtful like. And she was just sitting there stroking her raccoon. I didn't know what to say, which is unusual for me. And then Sonny come back, and he sees that I was talking to the girl, and he says, "Don't pay no mind to my granddaughter. Cow kicked her in the head when she was 7, and she ain't no good for nothing much since. Let's go to the bank." And so we did, and that was it. And I rented myself a trailer to hold my truck down. And I guess I shouldn't be too unsatisfied because I got what I wanted, even without a bargain. But I couldn't get that girl out of my mind. And halfway home, I rented myself a room in a motel with a nice big parking lot so that I could have an eye out of the window to my truck. And when I finally fell to sleep, I had that dream. And I tell you, it wasn't an ordinary dream. I dreamed I was out in the woods, you see, and it was a nice, crisp autumn day. It was real pretty, all the birds singing, and the colors. And up in the brush ran a deer a ways away, and I was real happy. Well, everything was so crisp. I could smell everything, I could feel everything, and I could see everything so clear. It was more clear in my dream than it ever was when I was awake. It was as if I was more awake in my dream than I was when I was awake, if you know what I mean. And I stepped into the brush and I heard that awful snap like a crocodile or something, and I felt that horrible pain in my leg. I couldn't believe it. I really felt the pain in my dream. I couldn't believe how bad it felt. And when I looked down, I had stepped into this trap, and my leg was bleeding all over, and the pain was incredible. And I tried to open the trap, but I couldn't. I just tried to open that, and I was screaming, and the pain was incredible. And then I noticed all these animals around. It was weird. It was like a Disney movie or something. There was a deer, and there was a raccoon, and the moose looked like Bullwinkle, and there was an elk, and a whole lot of mink and beaver. It was all looking at me. And the pain was so terrible that I started to eat my leg off so that I could get away. So I bended over and started gnawing on my leg to eat it off. And then I heard that noise in the brush. And damn, if that wasn't the 1914 Republic truck coming up the hill. And it stopped. And Sonny and his papa got out. And I thought, thank God, I'm saved, I'm saved. But they just stands there looking at me. And I said, help me, help me. And Popsy says, you have to talk to Sonny about that. Sonny handles all my business matters. And I says, Sonny, get me out of this, get me out of this. And Sonny, he says, I take $62,000 for it. No more, no less. What are you talking about? I said. Get me out of this. The pain is killing me. $62,000. No more, no less. And I grabbed into my wallet and put out a whole wad of money. I had $500 there, and I says, here, take it, but take me out of this. And he said, $62,000, no more, no less. And then that little girl with a damn raccoon was there, just standing there and looking at me. And I was screaming and whining and moaning, and the pain was terrible. I was bleeding all over. Man, it was real. And then they bend down and take me out of that trap, and they throw me in the truck, which has a big cage on it. And I'm laying in that cage, and they're driving down the hill with me, Sonny and Pops and the girl with the raccoon in her lap in the front seat between them. And I'm bouncing up, and my pain is terrible. My leg is killing me. I'm bleeding all over, and the truck charges over rocks and locks and stumps, and finally we go to the bank. And we drive into it, and it's the barn. And I'm really happy because now I think I'm get some medical attention. But they open the trap and throw me into the straw. And I stands there looking down at me. And then Sonny says, "Let's skin him." And he pulls out a big pig sticker of a knife you used to skin weasels with. And he grabs me by my hair and cuts into my forehead. And I feel the knife going in, and I feel him ripping my scalp off my skull. And then I woke up, screaming and screaming. And the night manager of the motel, he had called the police. And I was lying in the bed, my legs bended under me and my head hanging down funny with my hair caught in the bed springs. But I told the police it was nothing, it was just a nightmare. But I could see the cops didn't believe me. They thought I had murdered somebody in there. But after a while, they couldn't find nobody, so they left. But the next morning, when I wanted to put on my mink tie, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't touch it. Reminded me of that dream, I guess. And when I came home, I put all them 19 mink ties in a big box and brought that to the Salvation Army. And I took on wearing these damn plaid things. But it ain't the same. It ain't the same at all. I don't know. Maybe it's something I had. Maybe I was feeling bad about the $62,000. I don't know. I don't sleep so well anymore. I don't know. But a while after that, I let my wife drag me to the opera. I don't know why. She pretends she likes that kind of thing, but I cannot understand how she can. All those fat people screaming at each other in foreign languages. But I tried to humor her so that she let me have sex on holidays. Anyhow, there was this wife sitting in front of me with that fox thing over her shoulder. And that fox was looking at me. And it was looking at me. And it was awfully hot in there. And that fox was looking at me. And I swear, I could see his lips moving a little bit and his mouth opening a little bit, as if it wanted to whisper something to me. And I bent over just a little bit, and that fox started to move his mouth. And then I tried to say something to me. And then that word came out. The fox was going to say in that horrible, whispery voice. The fox wanted to say the word, I swear, he wanted to say, howsoever. I swear it wanted to say howsoever. And I knew what the son of a bitch was going to say. And I scrambled over a dozen ladies' legs to the aisle, and I must have kicked a dozen of them in the jaws. I didn't care, I just had to get out of there. They was all mad at me, especially that there heavy-set woman on the stage with the horns on the head, bellowing, and some poor guy with a beard about something. I don't know. I just had to get out of there before something more weird would happen. My wife was so mad at me, she almost had a calf. I don't sleep so well anymore. I don't know. I don't know. Listen, You want to buy a 1914 Republic truck? I sell it to you for $500. It's a damn good deal, I swear. You can get $62,000 for it. I don't want it myself. I cannot sit in it. I mean, $62,000. That's a lot of mink ties. That's a lot of